when we look at the emergence of any devata, when we look at the stories connected with them, what always is interesting to observe is how there is such interconnectedness. So it's hardly ever one story with just one character and a magical appearance. They're always interlinked to multiple elements, multiple, I will not say characters, but multiple other such forces. And the story is a combination of all this. Because, and I just want to, do this priming before we launch into the story, that when we look into any story of how a devata emerged, the idea that rishis are trying to convey to us, the rishis who documented these stories, is not about an emergence that happened long, long ago and we are simply remembering it. It is about an emergence that can happen at any moment inside the sheath of this body. And for that to happen, there needs to be a recognition and an awareness of what's happening. So these stories are talking about how divinity manifests within the body, within the realm of the body. When it is happening, there is a whole lot of grace that makes it happen. How does that grace come and support the expression of divinity? I think that's the scaffolding I'd like to build before we kind of get into the story of Ganesha. Because when we look at any form of divinity, typically what happens is divinity is somewhere a little out of reach for us. Because no matter how much we try to build in the idea of love, which is a very, very simple but a very profound thing to do, there is a distance because we realize it's God. So there is some fear. Because there's an element of unknown. So what makes divinity accessible? Divinity only becomes accessible to us when divinity becomes childlike. And that is why if you see in Sanatana Dharma, every school of thought, every sub-school of thought within this system has a form of that deity in a child form. So for example, Vishnu, eternally in his realm beyond the 14 worlds, out of access for even devatas, forget human beings. How does one attempt to reach such a Vishnu? That same Vishnu becomes a small little Krishna and comes crawling into our hearts. When there's Krishna, there's no intimidation. There's no fear of, oh, how do I? So automatically a link is established. So in the school of Vaishnava, a baby Vishnu is Balakrishna. In the school of Shakta, of Shakti, where the divine feminine is worshipped and is eulogized, how do we connect with her? I'm not saying one cannot establish a connect. There are Mahans who have established connects with so many forms of the goddess. But for the goddess to become accessible, she becomes the form of Bala Tripura Sundari. So Bala Krishna, Bala Tripura Sundari.